Do the early church fathers have unanimous agreement on the doctrine of the Catholic Church? Absolutely not. Somebody said years ago, and I think there's a certain amount of truth, you can prove almost anything by going to the church fathers, because there's so much diversity, and because you don't always know the context, you can take what they say and send it one direction or another. But how could the early church fathers support unanimously the doctrines of the Catholic Church when the doctrines of the Catholic Church didn't even develop until after the church fathers? I mean, there are so many components of Catholicism that came after the church fathers. In the councils, say from 325 to 725, there were solid things that were decided that the church fathers would agree on, things that had to do with Trinitarianism and the deity of Christ and things like that. But all kinds of things developed in Catholicism over time that the early church fathers don't even address.
Do the early church fathers agree on Roman Catholic doctrine? The answer that John MacArthur should have given was yes. The reason John MacArthur says that people are divided on what the early apostolic and Ante-Nicene fathers wrote about is because he said you can take out from the writings anything that you want. But that is not true. If you have reading comprehension, you can go into the writings of the Ante-Nicene fathers and follow them slowly, and you can tell and you can know what they were teaching. The reason that many people come up with different contradictory views of the Ante-Nicene fathers is because they're quoting from other books written about the fathers. This is the problem here, and this is the problem I find on YouTube. So many people write about the Ante-Nicene fathers, but they're not quoting directly from the fathers, or they'll quote something here and something there, but they are not consistent in the quotes, and that is why there is so much contradiction here. But no, if you study the writings of the Ante-Nicene fathers carefully, you will know what they were teaching, and you will see that some things they were teaching were okay, but they were teaching Catholic doctrine also. MacArthur states that the doctrines of the Roman Catholic Church, the major doctrines, were developed many years after the Apostolic and Ante-Nicene fathers. And in a way, he's right about that, because the Roman Catholic Church has developed, they believe, progressive revelation, so they keep developing year after year after year, and they change their tune. But where John MacArthur is wrong about this is that although the Apostolic and Ante-Nicene fathers were not at the time that all these major doctrines came about in later centuries, the reason that the Apostolic and Ante-Nicene fathers write about Catholic doctrine is because those later doctrines were interpolated into the writings of the fathers. And I'm surprised John MacArthur doesn't know that, or doesn't want to tell us. But the writings of the Ante-Nicene fathers have been interpolated, and they are not worthy to be trusted, because we have to admit it's either the Roman Catholic Church or someone that loves the Roman Catholic Church a lot to have used their scholars to go into the writings and to input later doctrines that are coming from the Roman Catholic Church. And so, no, John MacArthur is wrong. The Apostolic and Ante-Nicene fathers, they did agree with Roman Catholic doctrine only because we don't know if it was really them or someone else who came later and wrote into their writings. They interpolated, they put their own little writings in there, and they put in Roman Catholic doctrine. And the issue is not knowing whether the Catholic doctrines are there or not. That's easy. All you have to do is read the 10-volume set of the Ante-Nicene Fathers, and you'll find that they talk about every single doctrine of the Roman Catholic Church. You will find that some of the fathers, for example, Irenaeus, he's considered to be the bishop of Catholic tradition. And if you go into his writings, you will find that he makes the statement that all churches should belong to the Church of Rome. Is that not agreeing with Roman Catholicism? That Rome is the center of Christianity? Which is not, but that's what's written there. When you talk about the Clement of Rome, for example, he mentions the succession of the priesthood or of the bishops. Is that not Roman Catholicism? When you get to Ignatius, he talks about there being only one bishop that controls the church. Is that not Roman Catholicism? And he talks about looking at the one single bishop as looking at Christ himself. Is that not the reverence that the Roman Catholic Church demands of its leaders? Ignatius talked about the Eucharist. He talked about the perpetual virginity of Mary. He spoke of the God, the Word, or the begotten Word, instead of the spoken Word. That was Ignatius. Or that was someone who interpolated and put in those things in there. We can talk about so many things. Justin mentioning that there were two gods and leaning towards the Trinity. And all of these men, starting in the 2nd century, they all have hints of Roman Catholicism and hints of the doctrines that are expounded today by the Roman Catholics. You can find hints of this scattered around in all the writings of the Ante-Nicene Fathers.